Hey everyone, and welcome to another deep dive. Today we're tackling how companies are using digital transformation and what it means for all of us out there in the job market. To get into all this, we've got some really cool stuff to look at. We've got excerpts from an article called 11 Most Mind-Blowing Examples of Digital Transformation. There's a piece from the Economic Times about how companies are focusing on tech skills, but also soft skills. And we've also got the Future of Jobs 2023 report from the World Economic Forum. So get ready for some inspiring company examples. We're going to take a look at what skills everyone needs in this new world and also what this means for you.
Yeah, it's a pretty wild time to be watching all this happen. We're way past the point of companies just dipping their toes into digital transformation. Now they're really going all in, and it's changing how business works.
Totally. And we're seeing companies get really creative with it. Like in that 11 Most Mind-Blowing Examples
Oh,
article,
yeah.
there's these really interesting cases with Nike and Starbucks. And I think those show just how differently companies are approaching this whole thing.
Oh, those are great examples. They both show how digital transformation can touch every part of a business. It's not just about what customers see.
For sure. Okay, so let's start with Nike.
Yeah.
They've really embraced using mobile tech with their SNKRS app.
Mhm.
Imagine this. You use your phone to scan your foot, and it creates this detailed 13-point map. Then the app uses these fancy AI algorithms to look at your foot shape and suggest the perfect shoe.
It's brilliant. It gives customers a super personalized experience while also gathering data for Nike. Not only does it help you find shoes that actually fit, which could mean fewer returns and happier customers, but it also gives Nike a ton of info that can help them design even better shoes in the future.
Yeah, it's a win-win. And the article mentioned some impressive results too. Sales in Japan went way up, and the SNKRS app itself saw a 100% increase in sales. That's the power of using digital transformation to solve a real problem for customers.
Absolutely. But Nike isn't just about flashy apps. They're also digitizing how they work behind the scenes. They're working on digitizing 6,000 of their footwear materials. This makes their design teams so much faster, and it helps them respond to trends much quicker.
Now let's switch gears to Starbucks. Back in 2017, they launched this digital flywheel initiative, and it really shook things up. It wasn't just about creating a new app. It was about using that app to completely change their business model.
They made some really bold moves. First, they switched to a SaaS model, which means they basically started selling software solutions to other companies. So they created a whole new way to make money. Then they went all in on cloud technology, which gave them tons of flexibility so they could quickly adapt if demand changed. And at the heart of all this was a focus on data. They used data to constantly improve how they were running things.
It's a really holistic approach, like they weave technology into every part of the business. Even their HR strategy's got a makeover. What stands out to you about how Starbucks approached this?
What I find really interesting is that they realized digital transformation isn't just about plugging in new tech. It's about creating a company culture that embraces innovation. It's about using data to always be getting better. They understood that to really transform, the whole company needs to change how it thinks, and everyone needs to be committed to constantly learning.
And that takes us perfectly to our next topic. What skills do you need to do well in this new world? Because it's obvious digital transformation isn't just changing businesses, it's changing our careers too.
Yeah, it really is a whole new ballgame out there, and you need the right skills to keep up. That Economic Times article we have actually dives into a report from LinkedIn, and the findings are pretty crazy. 94% of companies are planning to boost their employee training in 2024.
94%. That's like almost every company saying, hey, we need our people to learn new things.
What's interesting to me is that the article talks about how both technical and soft skills are becoming more important. Yeah, you can't just be techie or just be good with people anymore. You need both. Like, think about problem solving and critical thinking. Those are skills that you need no matter what technology you're using or what your job is.
Definitely. It's about being able to learn new things quickly and being flexible.
Yeah.
And speaking of learning, the Future of Jobs report from the World Economic Forum has some really interesting insights into what's coming next.
It does. That report basically predicts that the job market is going to be super dynamic. They're saying there's going to be a 23% job churn in the next 5 years. That means a ton of new jobs will be created. But some old jobs will disappear as things get automated and AI takes over certain tasks.
Wow, 23%. That's a huge change. So for someone listening who's thinking, okay, I need to get ready for this, what are some of the most important things from that report?
Well, one of the biggest takeaways is that cognitive skills are going to be super valuable. And what's really interesting is that they actually ranked creative thinking as slightly more important than analytical thinking.
Makes sense. It's not enough to just analyze data anymore. You've got to be able to come up with creative solutions, think outside the box, and innovate.
Exactly. And we can't forget about technology literacy. The report calls it a core skill. And it's definitely becoming more and more important. You don't have to be a programmer or anything, but you need to have a basic understanding of how technology works and how it's changing your industry.
It's like having a base level of comfort with tech. Okay, so we've talked about all these skills and how the job market is changing, but what does all this mean for the person listening right now? It's a lot to take in, right? We've seen these awesome examples of how companies are using digital transformation, and we've talked about the skills that are becoming super important. So now, what does this mean for you?
That's the big question, right? Let's start with opportunities. The WEF report actually points out some jobs that are going to be in high demand.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, things like digital transformation specialist, sustainability specialist, or anything in AI and machine learning.
So many cool options. It sounds like there are tons of paths out there for people who are ready to jump in.
Exactly. And remember all that talk about those cognitive skills. Think about how you can show those off to companies when you're applying for jobs.
Like how?
Well, can you talk about projects where you had to get creative to solve a problem and got amazing results? Or maybe you learned a new skill super fast that was crucial for a project.
Right. It's not enough to just have these skills. You got to be able to prove you can use them.
Totally.
Yeah.
And of course, we can't forget about technology literacy. Even if you're not trying to get a super techie job, having a basic understanding of technology can really help you stand out.
It's like having that baseline comfort level with tech.
Yep, it's all about staying relevant and being able to learn and adapt as technology keeps changing. The good news is there are a ton of resources out there to help you stay ahead of the curve, like online courses, boot camps, industry publications. Even just reading about what's happening in your field can make a huge difference.
Oh, yeah, definitely. The WEF report actually mentioned something interesting about that. They said that 41% of workers have already gotten training to close their skills gaps. So here's a question for everyone listening. Are you in that 41%? If not, what's one tiny thing you could do this week to start catching up?
It's time to take action. The future is happening right now, and you can be a part of it. Start building those skills, explore new opportunities, and don't be afraid to embrace all the awesome changes that digital transformation is bringing to the world.
Couldn't have said it better myself. And that wraps up our deep dive for today. Remember, you can find links to all the stuff we talked about in the show notes if you want to learn more. Thanks for joining us.